Hello, welcome to 2017 Libra, and this will be your year-long reading. I will pull one card for every month, and please follow through with the thumbnails that are provided. And so let's begin. January of 2017. The first card that we pull for Libra, Libra Sun, Libra Rising, and Libra Moon would be the Strength card. And this crowns the entire reading. This card is showing itself for the month of January. Strength is a major arcana card. And if you look at the card, you will see that there is a woman who is taming a beast, a lion. He is a beautiful maned lion, and he has his mouth open as he stares up into her eyes, and she fondly stares back. Behind her, we see a blue mountain and a beautiful landscape, a yellow background. This card speaks to me of hope. It speaks to me of the hopefulness of controlling the inner nature, the beast within. Now, the woman is adorned in flowers. She's peaceful. We see that there's a beautiful infinity sign above her head. And so this is something she does with ease and with grace. And so what I'm hearing for you from your guides for the month of January, Librans, all of our Librans out there, is that the month opens with the overall sense of need to control our environment. And the environment around us may feel, for some of us, a bit daunting, or there may be some bullying going on around you, or you may feel bullied. The other scenario that comes to mind, that Spirit's bringing to mind, is that there is a need to temper your sense or your feeling that if you aren't strong or even overbearing in expressing your needs, that they will not be met. Now, the idea of getting your needs met by bellowing your needs probably would not be the best idea moving into January, because January is a flustery, blustery month, if blustery is a word, but it's also a month to redesign, reevaluate, vision, and correct areas in your life which maybe are areas that have held you back. And so your guides want you to hear that this is the month to really dig deep and begin to understand those baser forces that may be controlling you in certain ways that you were not aware of in 2016. And this is really cool, Libra, because I do believe that you're going to get some great messaging throughout this reading that will allow you to really put your mind at ease when it comes to traversing some of the barriers that you found yourself bumping into. Certain firewalls even, I'm hearing for Libra, that you've been bumping into in the past. And I believe that those firewalls are about to come down. This card speaks to you and your ability, it's a high compliment by Spirit, to ease your way around some of these issues or people. Reading as love or for love, this card would tell me that you may have someone around you who is difficult, and this person could have a lot of fire in their chart. This person could be a Sag. This person could be an Aries or a Leo, which is a very literal interpretation of this card, this lion that you see on this card. You may need to find a way to reckon with this person, or to get this person on the same page. And that will require great inner strength and patience. But you do have the ability to calm this energy. And again, this energy could even, this fire energy could even surround you. Your family may have quite a lot of fire in their chart. You may, if you were to pull your children and your husband's chart, or your wife's chart, or your partner's chart, or your parents' charts, you may find out that they do have quite a lot of fire in them, and that this fire needs to be tamed a bit in the month of January. Kind of a slow down month, not quite as impulsive, quite as go just to go. It's a bit of a taming and a petting of the spirit around you, if that resonates with you. And that's the month of January. It's really beautiful. And so February brings another challenge, a bit of a challenge. We have the Eight of Swords, and swords are a card of intellectualism. Really, swords happen between our ears. This is how we frame the world. This is how we see our world. This is how we approach our world, because thoughts become things, and it all begins here with the Eight of Swords for you in the month of February. And so this card really speaks to negative thinking that has been handed down to us, perhaps over generations even. However, oftentimes it's handed down since childhood, since birth. And we believe certain things about ourselves because we have been told that those beliefs are real and true. However, this card in February tells us that you're going to begin to realize that you have been held back by some of this thinking, and that these thoughts are no longer serving you, Libra. That said, these thoughts, these negative thoughts, these thoughts that are outside of the boundaries of today, 2017, what is real for you, what matters, what thoughts that help you move through this journey, which we call life, that allow you to empower yourself and others. These thoughts should replace the thoughts that were laid down way back when. And so this is a month to free yourself of that thinking, or to begin to think in a different way when those thoughts arise. Now, for some of you, you may actually find yourself in a situation that is a bit abusive. And the reason I'm hearing that from your guides is that we did have the Strength card in January. We have that card. It is reversed, and that can tell us that you're sapped a little bit because you have been trying to contain and control a situation, or you've been reacting to a situation, and that reaction has you maybe a little bit off your game, maybe feeling uncentered and not the cool, calm person that you are, who you know you are. And so with that in mind, the situation becomes evident, and you're about to walk away from this situation. Now, I really do believe that this situation will resolve itself by and through other people. And I do believe that that is because other people will begin to give you affirming, is that a word? Self-affirming feedback. And your guides are saying that when the feedback comes to you in February, that you should stay open and listen. You may want to take someone up on their offer to leave your residence, leave wherever it is that you're living, and spend a couple of evenings with them. And now I'm not saying that anything is dire here, but it would be helpful to take a couple of risks, so to speak, and to maybe shake things up a little bit at home by just spending a night out with a friend. Or perhaps you go and see your parents. Or perhaps you decide that you're going to take a business trip that really, and it is business to keep ourselves motivated and mentally well and stable. And so I see this happening for you, the business of life, allowing yourself to walk away just for small increments of time. This isn't anything profound. Now, for others, you may actually need to make a run for it. And the only way to really begin to remove some of this negative thinking and to be able to see the situation that you are in for what it is will require you to make a break for it. And basically, you're breaking out of prison, and the prison is really all in the thinking around you, and that thinking is not right thinking, and you've been trusting those around you, believing the people around you, and listening to what they have to say. Last thing I hear in February is that there may be a need to stay in, or you may feel as if you're homebound somewhat and not feeling well, and a lot of this could have to do with some minor depression issues that can be managed easily with the help of a friend, a phone call, and just a review. And winter weather can really get all of us down, and we can begin to think about things that are not positive. And Spirit is asking you to focus and dwell on the positive and to put all that other stuff not only behind you, but to gather it up and place it in the recycling bin and take it somewhere else. Bury that stuff because that's not helping you whatsoever. It's time to move on. The next card to come up for you, Libra, is the Five of Pentacles. And that's coming up in March. And so there's a lot of work being done here with you and for you and around you. The five speaks to a couple of things, but the first question that you may have as you're looking at this card, because it does look rather dire in March, but don't worry, is that you're going to see these beautiful pentacles in the window of a church, creating sort of a stained glass tree of life formation. And that just really speaks to the fact that you might be missing your family, and you might be missing out on some of the things that you had hoped to enjoy during this time of year. And so if you are, again, Libra Sun, Libra Rising, Libra Moon, you might be feeling a little bit distraught because you're not with the people who you love. The other beautiful, beautiful thing about this card, and I always like to mention this, is that when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And this is really an affirmation for you that you will be able to handle anything that comes your way. There's a lot of power in this card. There's a hope. Things are about to turn here. And I do believe that maybe the month of February, you're feeling a little bit sapped. You're reevaluating some of these negative thought patterns that had been laid down in the past. And this would be, the long ago past even. And that may separate you a bit from the family, the people who you call family, your mother, your father, your sisters and brothers. grandparents, all of that. You may be feeling a little differently about those people than you were feeling last year. And so there's a certain sense of despair here, yes, but there's also a turnaround that will happen because you know that there is solace there, even though you've had this realization. And we have to realize that our parents are not perfect. They're human beings, and they did the best that they could. I hear that pretty loud and clear through and with this reading. And also in relationship and love, there's this realization that no one is perfect, and that our decisions and choices will affect our living situations. And so you may, for some of you, find that your living situation has been affected because you've decided to make some rather profound changes. Some of you may have decided to make a break for it and to try it on your own, and you find that it's, this is the other side of freedom. This is the side of, hey, I'm free now, what do I do? Also, there is a warning here, a bit of a warning by Spirit to take care of yourself in the month of March. Take your vitamins and make sure that you have your annual exams, because this can point to just being run down and having a case of the flu, or you're in need of a little bit of extra help. A B12 may help you, just a little bit of self-care. You might want to seek out a congregation or a group of people who can welcome you in to the fold. I'm hearing that as well. That sounds pretty old-fashioned, but that may actually become a beautiful broth for your soul. Yes, so look at March. Wow. I also think Spirit wants you to reach out to others who may be in need of your help, because your charity toward others will heal you. You may have someone in your family who is a person with physical needs, someone who has challenges, physical challenges, and you may need to become the aid or come to the aid of these people. This is a time where service will also become a balm for you. Now, there is definitely a need to believe that all will be well in the month of March, to have a spiritual practice that you can rely upon. And this also speaks, I'm hearing this really strongly. This speaks to me because I see that you've been wrestling with some of these negative thoughts. And, our minds are like monkeys. And so sometimes, they're a bit unreliable. And if we really believe everything that runs through between, as I said, our ears, we could put ourselves into kind of a difficult situation. And so this card speaks to the fact of higher mind, higher thinking, relying upon spiritual principles that in the end will allow us to feel safe, secure, loved, nurtured, protected. The month of April. Okay, and we have the Temperance card. That's a major arcana card, and that's a beautiful, beautiful card, and that's a card of alchemy, a card of art. That's a card of staying balanced, keeping balanced within, and we spoke to health, and we're going to also speak to wealth and love. And so you see this card, it is a beautiful angel. She's pouring water from one cup into the cup below, and the water flows up, which is quite interesting. So this card initially during the Middle Ages was called the art card, and that is because art is made by taking one medium and creating something beautiful from it. And so if you were an artist and you had a paint palette, you would take that paint and dab it onto a canvas and create a beautiful outcome. And so that is really what this card is all about. This card is about taking what you have and turning that into something grander, more prolific, and even a work of art. And so within your reading, it seems as if there's going to be an amazing transformation happening for you, and it all is culminating within the spring, beginning with the Strength card in January. And in January, you reassess your inner strength. You kind of have to call it up, so to speak, and practice a certain sense of self-control. And that self-control will allow you to rest and relax into February and March, so that some of these issues that are below the surface can emerge, and you can deal with these things, and you can take care of these things, these negative thought patterns that have been laid down over your childhood and during your lifetime, things that you believe that other people have said about you, certain statements that were made, such as you're not beautiful enough for this, or you're not smart enough to do that, or you're not a great cook, or you're not a great daughter, or you've always been short. I don't know. It's just silly, silly stuff. You wouldn't make it to college because your SAT scores weren't good enough, but you did it anyway. And this isn't saying that you actually acted upon this, but that you actually have believed some of these statements. And so removing that belief may leave you feeling a bit out in the cold. And even if you were to speak to some of these folks who've laid down these negative thought patterns, you might not get the warm reception that you're expecting. But in the end, what do? You decide to take what you have and what you've learned and what you've discovered about yourself and to actualize and to create and to become all that you can be. This card also speaks to staying in the middle. It speaks to the golden mean. And so there's a certain amount of temperance that goes along with this card. And so what is temperance? Temperance is, there was a movement in the 20s, women who had husbands who were drinking really high content alcohol decided that they wanted to form a society, and that's exactly what they did. They formed the Temperance Society, and the Temperance Society really spoke out to the family, the protection of the family, the ability to create some structure that would allow people, or those people around you who really need rules, hardcore rules to stay centered, and hardcore rules to stay centered at that period of time really became prohibition. And so there may be in your environment this spring a need to really call people to the table. There may be a need to really decide that the middle means this, and define the middle and what is allowable, what you will allow to be said in your presence, who you will allow to be in your presence, how you will allow people around you to speak to you. And this is going to, as a Libra, really help you set off the rest of the year. This is going to help you feel this sense of serenity, and also you're going to manifest like crazy after this is done. And there's a lot of really amazing work that you will be able to accomplish if this challenge is met, and it will be met, and that happens in April. Beautiful card also because we're going to be celebrating this wonderful season of Easter, and that's another time of transmutation, transformation. And so really I can see that this work is happening right along with the season, and so you really come out of it in April. And so when you decide to put that Easter egg hunt together for the kids, or you decide to join in on a church service or something that you have done in the past that has fed your soul, it's going to feel wonderful. You're actually resurrecting. This card is not a card of resurrection. It is a card of transmutation and taking what you have and turning it into so much more. But it's a time of celebration, and it is a time to really embrace your angels, because your angels are covering you all year long. And some of you may even see an angel or hear a guide or feel the presence in April, and that's a promise. And so look for that. If you can, get in touch with your higher guides. You may even see one of them in April, which would be awesome. And so here we go. We're moving into May. And in May, we have another major arcana card for you. We have the Lovers. Wow. And so the Lovers speak to making choice in relationship. And so there's a lot of major stuff happening for you this month. If we're speaking to our Librans who are trying to make a choice within love, then you may find that after going through all of these major decisions, that you're making some reassessments here of your partner. And that reassessment really is a reflection of all of this work that you've been doing. And so you may feel in May that your relationship needs to come to the table. You need to have a meeting with your partner and discuss openly what it is that is happening, where you see this relationship going, why you're in the relationship, and you may even need to ask your partner to make a few changes, or they may ask you to make a few changes in order to create the relationship of their dreams, or the relationship of your dreams. Now, if you've been in a relationship for a while, you also may feel as if some of the passion has faded. You might maybe have been together a little bit longer than you've been with other partners in past relationships, and the newness and the freshness is worn off, and you might need to even work a little bit harder on keeping the passion going here. But then again, this is a great card because this is a card of integration and also understanding who you're with, because we are mirrors to the soul of our partner. And so when your partner looks into your eyes, you are mirroring back who you think they are. And they believe you 100% most of the time. And that is if you're in a good relationship. And so in a healthy and a nurturing relationship. And so this card may also point to the fact that we need to look deep down inside to make sure we polish up that mirror, keep that mirror nice and positive, clean, without cracks. We want to help our partner. We want our partner to help us. We want them to have our back. And in order for our partner to reflect positivity back to us, we need to make sure that we're cleaning house, we're keeping up, we are doing everything that we possibly can to be the best partner that we can. And what a great card. Now, if you're not in relationship, this can speak to the fact that you're integrating your masculine side into your feminine side. And so you might feel a little bit more masculine or more feminine in the month of May. If you're a female, you might find yourself having to seesaw toward the masculine side, and that could be within career. Maybe you're a single mom, and so you're feeling a little bit out of balance, or a single dad. You're feeling a little bit as if you're attending to the needs of your children or your in a more nurturing way than the protector and the provider. Excuse me, but that's okay. This stuff comes up all of the time, and we can't always maintain this perfect balance of masculinity and femininity within relationship or even within ourselves. We have to move back and forth, and so that's okay. You might feel a little bit off that way, but for some of you, you will also be making a major decision in your life. You might be leaving a marriage, and this is not for all of you, but for some of you, you might have already made that decision to leave a marriage or a partnership, and that decision is based upon some really heavy-duty work that you have been doing in April. You've been disappointed. March brings a certain amount of disappointment, and you might even have been asked to leave the home in March. And so work has been done, and then this decision is made. That will resonate for some of you and not all of you. Let's see what happens in June. So there's resolution that occurs in June. Now, again, if this is about leaving your partner, making the decision to leave your partner, there will be back and forth going on in June, where you may be separated in May, but there's the idea of working it out that's coming in June. These gestures are made, and you're open to them. You're not extraordinarily happy about it, but you're considering it. We have the Four of Cups. Again, we're going to read this for Librans who are looking for love and who are not looking for love and who are in relationship. And so if you're looking for love, the entire reading is really a story at this point, and it's really speaking to the idea that you're going to need to employ some of your courage meaning even deep inner strength and courage. This isn't bravado. This is the real stuff, the real steely stuff. This is the stuff that allows you to, for the people notice this. This is like grit and determination. And you're going to employ that in the beginning of the year. And that grit and determination will allow you to have the bravery of spirit that you will need to make this journey at the beginning of the year, which means really assessing and believing and allowing yourself, believing in yourself enough to allow yourself to break free from this mental imprisonment that you've been suffering from in the past, and to take this negative thinking and to throw it out the window. And some of this negative thinking even could have been laid down by you. Your expectations, your thoughts, who you thought you should be, and this self-blame, this stuff will be removed bit by bit through grit and self-determination. When that's done, you're free to roam, but we may find that where we roam is feeling a little bit like the Arctic tundra. It's not this warm, welcoming place that we had imagined that we would land in. And it's a place that isn't fully explored as of yet. And so you need to find your refuge. And when you do, you will find that you're going to be bumping into people. And not every person who you bump into will be your perfect match. But then again, it all takes time, and that points back to that Temperance card in April. And so be patient, because all of this work that you've been doing will allow you to begin to, it's almost as if your eyes are opened, and now you're allowed to begin to accept invitations and offerings of love. It's really quite beautiful. And you can think of this also as in career and business. It's the same. This concept applies to all aspects and areas of your life. July. July brings the Knight of Pentacles, the slowest moving knight in the deck, the stable movement of what is practical. Who can you rely on? How do you depend upon someone? Who can bring a sense of stability to your life? And I am hearing that for some of our Librans, you need to find this place of smooth, steady companionship. It's also a very luxurious card. This knight would represent a Taurian who loves beauty, or a Capricorn, very strategic, or a Virgo, high level of expectation in all things, in the way they approach all things. And so, very interesting card to come up, because this card speaks to the calming down effect of the Pentacle energy, and how that energy can give you really a break from all of this effort, time, energy that you've spent trying to do the work. And so it's almost as if you can take a break, some of you, in July, and even stick your foot in the earth, and it's almost a break. You can turn on the brakes. Now, Knight of Pentacles is really the knight that you would want to have in your corner if you're looking for love. And that's because he's not showy, he's not flashy, he's a hard worker. He may be someone who likes to actually work with wood. He may be someone who likes to create out of the earth. And he may be a farmer even, but this is someone who's grounded. And it's also someone who is out in the world doing things. So if you are looking out there and you want to find someone, pull your head up and maybe jump up from underneath that meditative tree that you've been sitting under and take note of this guy, because he may seem a little unexciting initially, but this stability could really help you move into the rest of the year, the end of 2017, in a very nice way. Again, major decisions being made in relationship, a lot of work being done, working with our lovers, our partners, and reevaluating some of the offers that they've made in the past. These beautiful offers could have been ignored previously and not seen, in the light of day, because maybe we're two ships passing in the night, working like crazy people. But then we have this Knight of Pentacles, this sort of putting on the brakes in July. And also, it can mean that one or both of you has been a bit frivolous with the cash flow. And as the card did come up in reverse, it can also mean someone's just being stubborn, and they're not willing to move forward here in the way that this needs to move forward. So it is a break. Feels like somebody's putting on the brakes again. Now, if you are and have had a situation within relationship where the two of you have decided to call it quits and then reevaluated and decided to try it again, this card speaks to the fact that one or both of you might be stubborn. And so Spirit says, your guides say, let that go. Don't hang on to that. And again, this can also apply to family. This can apply to any relationship that you are having an issue within. Resolution has been offered, but there is a sense of stubbornness coming up here. Let's see what is going on. The next card to come up for you. August. What does August bring? August brings the Two of Wands, which is the Christopher Columbus card. And that card would tell us that you have decided to take a look at opportunity after July. And you are no longer stuck in the mud, or your relationships are out of that place where you just kind of say, bleh, I don't want to do anything with this. I'm just going to let it sink. Up comes this card where you've got two choices, and that choice, one choice is looking a little better than the other. You may have to travel a little bit, or you may have to vision. And if you like to vision board, this is a great time to do it in August. And break out those markers and magazines and glue sticks. Do a little bit of visioning, because if you can put this on paper or you can write this down, this is good stuff, all good stuff. And you're feeling inspired for the first time in a while to go after something that is completely fresh and brand new. And you're an entrepreneur, and so this could be a new project even. This could mean that you're going to put something in place in your business that will allow you to go to the next level, new plan. This can mean that you're expanding globally, and that, you're not any longer going to be bound by the rules of others. You've gone through a really amazing transformation in the springtime. You've made some major decisions about how you're going to move forward in the summer. And that little break that you put on, where you're not going to allow others to control you, has really paid off. And so this is a great card. And visioning is always fun. There's a lot of energy in this card. This is fire energy. This is creative energy. This is you really taking a look at the world around you and making some decisions as to how you want to shape that world. And so it's great. If you're dating, this can mean that you're back out there. Or if you have been in relationship and decided to end it, you're back out there again and having a lot of fun. And you feel very positive about what you see. The landscape looks awesome. And there's a big smile on your face. That's what I see. In relationship, again, if you put on the brakes and you're with someone and you're already married, you're already partnered up with someone, this means that the two of you have decided to make new plans as a couple. And that can also make you feel great, because if there was someone, one of you, who had said, hey, let's just spend, or the opposite side of that, hey, let's not spend anything, let's put that renovation to the house on hold, let's put that trip on hold, let's put everything on hold. This card speaks to the fact that the two of you are feeling great and hopeful in the month of August, and you are no longer putting anything on hold. You're out there visioning, talking about it, walking the property, looking at different possibilities for your future online, discussing those possibilities with others. It's a really fun month. September brings justice. Justice is a great card. If you have legal issues, things are coming up for you in court. Spirit is telling you to avoid any resolution or trying to make resolution within a courtroom within the month of September. Now, that is because this card has come up reversed, and so things will turn themselves around going into the fall. But in September, I would stay out of any courtrooms. You might find also that some of the decisions that you had made earlier in the year, they resurface as this need for someone to get even, or feel as if what they have contributed to the situation is returned to them. There may be a need to right some issues that were disrupted. Something might have been disrupted for you. And I'm hearing in the past, in the spring, even in the fall of 2016, you may have had some issues, some legal issues that resurface and that come back. But that's just for some of you. Others of you, I can see that you're starting to say, hey, that's not fair, and I'm tired of being treated this way, and I'm going to stand up for myself, and I'm going to tell you what is right and fair for me in my life. And so that's for some of you also. And then also for some of you, there may be some inheritance coming up. There may be something going on within the family. And so you want to make sure that everybody gets their fair share. That's what I'm hearing. And you may, within relationship, also Libra, have to make further decisions. If you have been in a relationship and that relationship has gone through some pretty seismic conditions, let's just say. Going into the summer, there's been a disruption or even a breakup. You may have to deal again with some of that here going into September, working through some of those issues. And then the Three of Cups comes up, and that's a card of celebration, and that's fun because that's moving into the holidays. Weddings, the knowledge of weddings, hearing about others' celebrations, people around you are celebrating, and you want to join in, and you want to just kind of raise a glass and say, oh, this is what it's all about, joie de vivre. This is where I want to be. This is who I want to be. This is where I want my life to go. I want to be one of those carefree, happy individuals who really aren't thinking about a single thing other than what they're going to wear tomorrow night to the next dinner party. And so that's the beautiful feeling that October brings. It's just a really kind of a nice place to be. And there's really nothing wrong with just letting your hair down and enjoying all that the season brings. And that's the Three of Cups. Now, again, the Three of Cups may have to do also a bit with overindulging, and you might have to watch it a little bit. Not all of you, but you might want to just make sure that you keep yourself in check, and you don't want to do anything that might embarrass you later on, or you don't want to be in a situation that is just like not, the party begins, and it's fun, and you're having a great time, but then as it takes off, it just kind of becomes a bummer and a downer, and so it's a great time to leave. Also, be careful about bumping into past lovers and partners. That's coming up as well. For some of you, that might feel a bit awkward. And, there may be a situation because of the way the year played out where you're not invited to every single house party on the street because there have been some serious issues that you've been dealing with. And so those things may keep you home and may not allow you to just go out there and enjoy the neighborhood, enjoy the friends, and enjoy whatever it is that everybody else is being invited to. But this is a month, October, of parties and fun and things going on around you, and whether or not you decide to join in or not is really truly up to you. But this is a month of festivity and a month to really just kind of raise a glass and toast your friends and even toast yourself and kind of reflect upon the year. It's like New Year's, only early in October. Okay, then in November, we've got another card coming up. This is the Nine of Swords. And again, nothing dire here. However, November ends with just this idea that, hey, I'm not sure that I really feel great yet about everything that's been going on around me. I'm still dealing with some of these issues. I'm still thinking about some of these issues. And so even though we've got this Two of Wands opening up the fall, you turn the brakes on, the Two of Wands pops up. There's just these little bumps in the road that you're still dealing with, and you may find that you need to just kind of lighten up and not worry quite as much, because everything will be okay. Your guides say you're going to be fine. It's going to be lovely for you. But worrying about every little thing, children and the house, the spouse, and if you're not worried about that, the job, the projects in November, and, getting everybody together and making sure everything is working properly, making sure that your opportunities are coming in, meeting your expectations. Again, if you have concerns on the job or in love, write them down in a journal. Place that journal beside your bed so that you can get some sleep, because November will be the month of lots of things going through your mind and remembering all the tasks that need to be done in the middle of the night. And so you want to make sure that you're taking care of your mental health, which you, in the spring, attended to so well. And so you don't want to let those things pile up again. All of the negative thinking that you've thrown out into the trash, you don't want it to come back. And so in November, just toss that stuff away, put it in a notebook or just, get it on paper so that you're not as concerned, and that you stay free. You don't want to become a mental prisoner once again. And so that's your guide speaking to you. If you are in a position of power, or if you're supporting the family, if you're supporting a partner, this card speaks to that as well, to be able to provide, and the issues that come up for you seem very heavy. Now, they seem heavy because you are a very responsible person, and you've been doing a lot of work this year, and really it's time for some joy and happiness. And so at the end of the year, December, we've got the King of Swords, and that is the male Libra energy. And so all of this will be dealt with extremely well by you, and the energy will be quite black and white here. It's a great way to end the year, because this is a card of logic, and this is also a bit icy, a bit stern, but it's exactly what you need in order to wrap up everything, this type of energy, into a nice tidy little package and move into 2018, if you can imagine that. The King of Wands, or I'm sorry, the King of Swords, this is, again, you, air sign, Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. Now, if you are a male and you're listening to this card has a strong side, and of course a weaker side. And so let's talk about the strengths first. The strengths are the ability to see the big picture, and to also engage contractually in any arrangement. And so you're able to face a situation with logic and clarity. Also, you're able to communicate extremely well, and you have a good grasp of the law. You know what your rights are, and so, but you also know what other people's rights are, and you don't want to manipulate others based upon this knowledge. So that is the King of Swords, the strength. But the underside, the underbelly, would be you can come off as a bit cold at times. Some people may be put off by that. You can be flippant in your remarks, overly witty, and that can turn people off. So you want to end the year on a high note where you're able to control through reason and rational thought. And that also would mean in business. If you are considering a new business, or creating new business, or moving for work, at the end of the year, you will look at the details and analyze them, analyze the data, analyze the facts, and take a nice, cool, calm, collected go at it, and make sure that whatever decision you make, it is going to make rational sense for you and for your family and for those around you. Now, if you're female and you're listening to this reading, this can mean that you've got a father, husband, partner, boss, person in your life who at the end of the year is going to control some of the decisions, perhaps, that you're making. And that can really actually lighten the load a little bit, because we did have this 9 coming up in November. And so you might need some help with some of these issues that have been concerning you. You've got a lot of responsibility, and so if this person comes in and gives you advice, it could be a lawyer even, because often the King of Swords is a lawyer, someone who understands the law and contractual obligations. This person can help you out. Now, this card did come up reversed. And so that said, again, if you are in legal situations here, you find yourself in legal situations, contractual situations toward the end of the year, you would want to not go at this person head on. In fact, you might just want to let sleeping dogs lie, because any decision that is made in court moving into the winter will not be one that you're going to be super happy with. So you want to make sure that you don't approach this person in an aggressive manner, because that will just cause them to arm and defend themselves. So this energy is out there, and it is ending the year, and it's just a bit of a warning. But you can use this energy to your benefit. You can take this energy and use it to uncover details and to make sure that you understand exactly everything from a factual standpoint. Because if you do lay out all the paperwork or anything that's associated with the situation going on, and you do get a clear understanding of that, you'll be able to take action. And that clear action will allow you to sleep better. And it's going to allow you to feel rested. You know that you're doing everything that you can to deal with any situation at hand. And so I can definitely see that the end of the year will be that of clarification, maybe even getting through taxes, business dealings of the past that maybe need to be worked on, spelled out, that type of thing. And so for the women out there who are Librans, who are looking for love, at the end of the year, we do have another air sign male popping up, and this is this King of Swords. And then again, I'm going to say what I hear for you is that initially you may not understand why this person's in your life, but this is going to be an interesting match for sure. Now, this is a new person, and this person you may even meet in the courtroom, or you may even meet this person through dealings within the justice, the legal system. And so keep your eyes open for him. You could even meet him at the tax collector's office. I don't know why that comes up, but it just does. But anyway, it's a really interesting year for you, Libra. Lots of stuff, lots of major happenings going on, and I really want to compliment you. You've got the grit and the determination to take your life from where it is, right this second when you're listening to this, all the way around toward temperance. And then reevaluation happens after you remove some of these thought patterns that have been laid down and you face the open wild tundra. Transformation occurs, and you're really in charge, really in charge when it comes to making decisions about your love life. That I'm seeing loud and clear. And then again, the wrap up is really just that. It's a wrap up, because what you're doing is you're dealing with your decision to move forward in your life, or your decision to move forward with your partner. But just moving forward will mean that there's going to be some need to make sure that everyone is getting their needs met, including you. Any loose ends that have been left out there, you're going to start tying up. You're going to be careful, though, because at the end of the year, you might find that there's some litigious people at your back, and so it's not completely carefree. Although we have this Three of Cups, there are some carefree moments, but ending the year with this energy, this decisive, clear energy, which is going to allow you to cut through some of these murky situations. You're going to be able to clear the water, clear the air. You're going to be able to take a really definitive look at your life at the end of the year, and that's going to be really cool. And so there's some victory involved. It may be a bit delayed. You might not feel it right away, but you're going to have this sense of empowerment, and that's what I'm hearing at the end of the year. And it's been hard won, but there is a sense of empowerment for you, and you're going to be able to find your way. You might not even live in the same place at the end of the year. I see some of that. There may be a move, but you're going to come through, and you're going to be in the driver's seat. So there you go, Libra. Thank you so much for listening to this reading. I hope this resonated with you. And again, if you've subscribed to these readings, you can watch or listen to all 12 of them. There is one for every sign. Please listen to your rising, to your ascending, and, your rising is your ascending. Your rising, your moon, and your sun sign. And then if you get a chance, pull your natal chart and listen to your Venus and your moon, your Venus and your Mars. So thank you very much, and I wish you blessings in the year of 2017. Namaste.